I've I've been thinking about this for a while. One of the things that has plagued the church and broader culture is this source of anxiety that we don't really have words for yet. So if you think about it, we're not okay. I think you can say that about pretty much everyone, but you look at anyone who's basically 40 and under, right? Millennials, Zoomers, some Gen X, but generally anyone millennial and younger. And there's this deep sense of um, anxiety, um, anger, restlessness, and uncertainty. With millennials, specific at least as myself, I'm almost 37. There is this reality that set in probably about 5 years ago, but is getting real every day, and that is the reality that we were the generation that was told to go do what you want to do, go do whatever it is you feel like you want to make money at, your follow your dreams, so to speak. And that simply didn't happen. We went to college, we got the degrees, and me being me, I'm still going after the degrees. But Zoomers and Gen Alpha are in this weird place. And so millennials and Gen Xers and all of them and us and me created a world that has become orthodox in a secular sense. The prevailing orthodoxy is that of secularism, of a sense of progressive politics, sexual ethics or non-ethics, and all these sorts of things. And now we're seeing, I think, Zoomers and Gen Alpha and some millennials beginning to kind of stop and go, okay, wait a minute. We have more freedom than we've ever had. We've had more things than we've ever had. We've had more this, we've had more that than we've ever had in the world, in any time in human history. And yet you talk to your average millennial or Zoomer or Gen Alpha person, and and he or she is more anxious, more tired, more angry. And I don't mean angry as chip on the shoulder. I mean feel it in your bones, angry, like there is something deeply wrong with the world and the way it is. And I think that is one reason why you're seeing Zoomers and millennials begin to look at church again. And I'm a pastor here in Los Angeles, and there is, I think, a growing sort of sentiment that whatever the secular orthodoxy is not working. And we can see that. We can see, go do what you want to do. Go be who you want to be. Go do what you want to others or to yourself. And I think we're all beginning to realize that that's just not good. And I don't mean good like fun. I'm talking about in our bones. It's not good. Uh, Genesis talks about when God made the world and God made everything, he called it good. And then when he made humankind in his image in Genesis 1, in scripture, he said it was very good, right? And I think Zoomers, millennials, Gen Alpha folks are beginning to look at the world and go, the world that has been made for us, commercialism, an environmental disaster, the political tribalism and warfare, the always feeling like you have a knife in your ribs and a gun at your back and, a hole in your stomach. And I think a lot of people are beginning to just realize that this is not very good. In fact, this is not good at all. And so and sound off in the comments and forgive me for not introducing myself if this is your first time. I'm Nick. I'm a pastor here in Los Angeles and Palos Verdes area, so Torrance, Long Beach area, South Bay. And I'm wrestling with this too. This deep sense of anxiety, this deep sense of uncertainty, this deep sense of in your bones anger. And I think a lot of people are recognizing that the way the world is not the way the world was meant to be. That all those things in the Bible or in or I should say, all those things that culture tells us that will make us happy have not made us happy. We're more medicated. We're more saturated in computers. I mean, you're watching this on a device of sorts. This isn't a smoke signal that I'm sending out after all. We're recognizing that the problem is greater. It's in our bones. It's our DNA almost feels like it's being corrupted. And I think for the Church of Jesus Christ and for Zoomers and Gen Alpha and millennials that are willing to give church a second chance, I think the hope I have as a pastor is a willingness to challenge orthodoxy. What was orthodox when I was young was go to church, be a good citizen, vote this way, get a house, get a car, make 6 figures, marry the girl or girl of your dreams in my case, do all these things, right? And I think millennials, or I should say Zoomers and Gen Alpha, specifically younger people, are recognizing that contentment and joy are not the same thing as a 6-figure income or owning a home. Indeed, the very nature of hope means that Gen Alpha and Gen X don't have the luxury of living these great and wonderful dreams about going to do this and traveling the world and getting a 4-year degree that'll get me a 6-figure income starting out. They're already born with the dream. What dream? There's not much beyond that, and I think that is why you're seeing Zoomers and Gen Alpha beginning to really wrestle with the idea of church again. And I think a lot of them are seeing kind of the Andrew Tate stuff and the red pillism and going like, yeah, that's a response, and it's a response to secular orthodoxy, the orthodoxy of the day, the standards of the day. But I think for most other Zoomers and Gen Alpha, and by all means, if you made it this far, let me know in the chat your diagnosis of the problem or problems. This is just a smoke signal, so just still figuring it out. I think there is this deep sense of that there is something that is deeply missing. Maybe those old stories we saw that we were kind of maybe taught possibly have a lot more concrete to them. There's more of a structure to them. There's more substance than we previously thought. And so, for example, you're seeing, with Zoomers and Gen Alpha dealing with issues of identity, but also of place, of hope. Where is this world going? What is my place in it? How can I find peace in my anxiety, my depression, this anger I feel? And part of the mission of the church is twofold. One is, in the Bible, the church is seen as a place of fellowship, and fellowship in terms of joy, a fellowship of joy. That at our church, for example, we spend time after church eating together, whether it's cookies or cake or a full-blown meal, depends on when you come by. But for us, as at our church, we make it a point to spend time together, slow it all down, eat together, spend time together, laugh together, cry together, pray together. And I think Gen Alpha and Zoomers are really beginning to understand the depths of that need, that we need this, we need not just community, we need transformation. We need something more than what we have. We're done with the not good. We need very good. We need to go back to that. We need to kind of capture that joy. So that's the first part for the church is at our church, for example, that's what we do. And we're an older congregation, but we still feed each other. We're still here for each other. And the second thing is proclaiming a gospel that is both relevant and concrete. For example, and I've talked with enough Zoomers and millennials and Gen Alpha folk, telling people that Jesus died for their sins is not really an issue for them. They don't have a problem with that. The issue or issues, but one of the issues is this deep sense of anxiety, the need to turn off the buzzing in the head the feeling of crippling fear and stuff like that. And I think the church needs to retell the story of Jesus. The idea that Jesus tells people, "Come to me, all who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." He does expect you to carry what you have, but what he offers you is lighter than that. He offers you a family, and he offers you a place of belonging. And one of the key biblical texts that we might think of in Scripture is bearing one another's burdens. That specifically for younger men, I think, and older men too, or just men in general. Not that women don't feel this. I know women feel this. But for men, we don't want to be a burden to others. We're happy to take other people's burdens, because that's what you do. But we're not willing to be a burden to others, to give others the burden. But when Scripture says bear one another's burdens, that applies across the board to everyone. Women have burdens, men have burdens, you have burdens, I have burdens. And one of the things I think we all need to come to grips with is the reality that the burdens we have are not meant to be carried alone. That the burdens that we have are meant to be shouldered by others. You can only carry something for so long before eventually it breaks your spirit, it breaks your heart, it breaks your back. And so my hope is that the church would begin to recapture that, would begin to look past tribalism and kind of the easy political narcissism of the day, and also be that place that feeds people again. So I don't know if this helps at all. Excuse me, just a little pastoral video from a nobody pastor in Los Angeles, in South Bay. But yeah, what do you think? What's your diagnosis? What's your solution? Because whatever the issues are or were, what is not working. And that should give us a little bit of comfort that maybe the things of old, those old things, the things written about in this, maybe it still speaks to us. And maybe it has something to say to me and to you. So, God bless you. And maybe I'll keep posting some of these. But I think we need to recapture that. Let me know.